So interaction with language, short-term memory, and visual semantics. So language processes are handled mainly by the phonological loop for verbal information and episodic buffer for integrating semantic meaning. This allows you to recall words and create meaningful sentences during conversation. Now, short-term memory serves as a temporary holding system that interacts with all the components of the working memory model. Information is actively processed and maintained here until it is either transferred to the long-term memory or discarded. And finally, visual semantics. So visual semantics refers to the meaning of the visual information. The visual, spatial, sketchpad, and episodic buffer work together to process understanding visual information. Example, reading visual symbols or interpreting a picture's meaning. Now, in-depth cognitive mechanisms involved. So fluid intelligence relates to the brain's ability to adapt and solve novel problems by drawing on working memory resources. It's controlled by the central executive and is crucial for tasks that require flexibility and adaptation. For example, solving a new math problem. And crystallized intelligence involves knowledge that is accumulated over time, such as vocabulary or general knowledge. The knowledge is processed and manipulated through central executive and is often used to guide actions and decisions. Now, central executive fluid intelligence, which had been marked in black in the diagram that I showed you. So, the central executive is the core component of the working memory model. It's responsible for overseeing and directing the functions of the other components: phonological loop, visual, spatial, sketchpad, and episodic buffer, which coordinates attention, decision making, and cognitive control in response to the environmental stimuli. Right? We already discussed the role. Now, its significance. So, fluid intelligence. The central executive is most closely associated with fluid intelligence, which refers to the brain's ability to reason, adapt to novel situations, and solve problems without relying on prior knowledge. Right? Let me just highlight this part as well. The central executive helps manage the working memory load, allowing individuals to process information flexibly and adaptively. Now, problem solving and adaptability, we've already discussed that. The phonological loop, fluid intelligence again. So the phonological loop is responsible for storing and manipulating auditory verbal information. It consists of phonological store and articulatory rehearsal process. Then we have fluid intelligence again. The phonological loop facilitates fluid intelligence in tasks that involve verbal reasoning, language acquisition, and learning new verbal information by keeping auditory or verbal data actively available in memory. So the significance would be language processing and real-world example, when memorizing a phone number, you use the phonological loop to rehearse the digits to keep it in working memory, right? Now we have visual spatial sketchpad again. It is again fluid intelligence. So how? It basically supports fluid intelligence by helping individuals solve spatial reasoning problems and navigate through spatial tasks without relying on learned knowledge, right? Now spatial navigation and visual memory, we've done that. Episodic buffer is also fluid intelligence form of that. So how is that? Basically, it supports fluid intelligence by integrating diverse types of sensory information, allowing the individual to adaptively use the information stored in working memory and link it to long-term knowledge. So highlight this as well. And significance, we've already discussed integration of information from all aspects like auditory, visual, and spatial, right? Then language. Language now is crystallized intelligence, and it is marked as blue. So crystallized, how is it crystallized? So the language component reflects this crystallized type of intelligence, since it involves previous knowledge of vocabulary, grammar rules, and is utilized in cognitive tasks that require reasoning based on accumulated knowledge or knowledge that is already learned, right? So significance, knowledge retention, and use. Now short-term memory again would be crystallized intelligence. Why is that? Because short-term memory plays a role in crystallized intelligence because it involves storing and retrieving information based on existing knowledge or patterns. So we highlight this. Then we have visual semantics, crystallized intelligence. Again, blue, is visual semantics, relies on prior experiences and knowledge, that is understanding and interpreting familiar objects, shapes, and images. It helps in creating meaning from visual input, often relying on learned visual knowledge. Right. So basically, this is how it's done. And summary of fluid versus crystallized intelligence. You can go through this table. I'll attach it in the description below. And yeah, that's about it.